Hello, Buddhas. I kind of just figured out the whole concept of loneliness. And maybe not entirely why it's been a big part of my journey, but how it's been beneficial. And for some context here, I'm an only child. I live by myself. I have good relationships with some people, but I don't have a massive friend group that I hang out with all the time. Never really got accustomed to living with other people. Although that is something that I know will be a part of my life very soon. It's never been like, oh, I want to have roommates and all this stuff. No, I was like, I like my space. And again, I don't see it as a bad thing. For a while, especially 2020, felt a little overwhelming, a little bit lonely, a little bit like, God, I'm jealous of all those people that can self-isolate with someone. Still kind of feel that way. However, it's funny because all the people that are self-isolating with other people are always like, oh my God, there's so many people. I'd love some space. So I guess it's a blessing. And I definitely think it's a blessing from a spiritual perspective. And let me explain that. I believe that the loneliness, the solitude, the quiet, not necessarily quiet environment specifically, but the quiet of less chatting, less interaction, more inward work. It's not required to have a spiritual awakening or to have a spiritual understanding. And we got a cat cameo, so I'm not completely alone. You've been in the tub, you're soaking wet, you goofer. He's had a shower and he decides that the best thing for him to do is to walk around inside the wet tub and then walk around all my hardwood floors. Kids, what you gonna do? So again, let me reiterate, you do not need to be alone to have a spiritual awakening or to be on the spiritual path or to have an understanding or wherever you're at. And don't just quit being friends with everybody because you think that might help you in some way, because that's silly. But maybe do make intentional decisions to take time for yourself. And I think that's a big thing where meditation comes in. A lot of these practices talk about, and a lot of these teachings talk about meditate and quiet the mind and be alone in a single, even if it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes a day. But when you live alone, a lot of your day turns into a meditation without even being aware of it. It's not even necessarily an intentional act. And my biggest distraction is putting on YouTube videos and just consuming content and knowledge. Like, I don't binge watch Netflix TV shows anymore. I binge watch spiritual esoteric teachings and like Abraham for hours. And that's good because it helps with the loneliness. But when you embrace the loneliness and you stop to see loneliness as this big, bad, negative thing and embrace it for the solitude that it is, which can be beautiful, and the inner peace that it can bring, that's where I believe a spiritual path can really grow. Now again, the seed and growing and harvesting analogy I love so much. It's used in so much material. I don't think you have to be alone to plant the seeds. Okay, let me be very clear. In my world, I'm actually formulating a video here because there's quite a lot to say, but there's definitely some specific instances of my life that I can say planted seeds for this fruition. And I can say with certainty that these seeds have really bloomed and really grown and really gotten rooted deep, or whatever analogy plant-based you want to use. They've expanded, let's call it that. These seeds have done wonders in the solitude. Those moments alone, those moments where you're just thinking and you're in your head and you're understanding and going through memories and reassociating and doing the shadow work and doing the, doing the damn hard work that is necessary at the beginning until you stop believing in hard work. But we are programmed to believe in hard work. So there's going to be a little bit of hard work involved. Sorry, not sorry. What I'm coming around back to saying here essentially is don't beat yourself up for being alone, especially on this journey. It is a personal journey. Your understanding of yourself is not something that someone can give you. Let me repeat that. Your own understanding of yourself, your self-actualization, which I kind of find is a fun word to say. It's not a gift that someone can give you. I am blessed with the seeds of that questioning of what the frig is going on in my world that then led to this self-actualization and this realization in the beginning of this major path. But this, I feel like I've accomplished the minor beginnings of it. I'm acknowledging now that there's a seed planted in the ground and it wants to grow. Like it's starting to feel like I've accomplished something because of just the way that people react to me now and the way that I react to people now, aka I don't. I know that I'm no Sadhguru, but Sadhguru was not always just Sadhguru. I love saying its name, it's so good. Enjoy the solitude, embrace the solitude, appreciate the time you have with yourself. Because I have learned to do that, and I actually am so grateful and I am so blessed for this time where I don't have a life partner with me right now. I don't have a roommate. I don't have any major obligations at work where I have to physically go into an office. I don't have anything that's really forcing me to be in the presence of anyone. So that means that I can choose to be in the presence of people when I want to. And I still want to, but I also respect my time. I respect me for wanting to just be, right? That's a fundamental level of existence that I am starting to wrap my head around. And this is not meant to be a preachy video, but I want to share this because there's so much of my life that I've felt so diminished because of being alone, or being single, or being an only child. There's so much of my life that I felt that was a loss. And again, I'm not saying you have to fit into any of those boxes to find self-understanding and self-love. But if you happen to have a period of time where you are just kind of stuck with you, stop seeing it as being stuck and start seeing it as being in the best position ever to learn about you. And that's pretty much it.